Hello, in today's tutorial we'll be taking a quick look over the admin section where we can set up some of the defaults that Receta operates to. Most of this should be self-explanatory using the help section top right and the form fields reference. However, I will go through each one in turn now just so that we are all clear. If we start off by going to admin, you'll see there are 4 main overall sections. We'll take each one in turn. Account, in here, if you are the account owner of Receta, you will see a block called Accounts and Users. If you are less than the account owner, you may not see this section. If we go into your account, here we can set some of the defaults that Receta operates to. We can set our business information, which would appear on several documents within Receta. We can add our company logo, which again would appear on several documents that Receta produces automatically. And on the right hand side we can set several defaults. I'll go through them top to bottom. The email notification sections here, here and here detail who within your organization receives notification via email when certain tasks are being performed within Receta. If we expand the orders section, here you can see we can select who would receive notification when a new quotation was added, a new sales order was added, when a purchase order had been received, when a sales order had been listed as having some materials required, it had a stock shortage for example, or when the quantity of a sales order had been edited. Email for production, we can say when a new production for a rec is added, and etc. for FP, C-prods, when productions are complete, when productions are complete but there is a stock difference between what was requested and what was actually produced, when a formula is changed, if a second user needs to be informed when a formulation is changed, if you are printing your labels in-house, if you set a particular sales order as printing documents in-house, and when a quarantine is requested to be destroyed. You don't have to set each and every one of these, they're only there if you feel that they're useful. If we look at the dispatches and invoices, we can set when a new dispatch is created, if someone will be notified, when a new invoice is created, and the pro forma paid. Some of these do have extra features, such as in this case, if you set this, it will also be the address used as the send from address when new invoices are created automatically. So for example, you could set this to your accounts department overall email, and all emails that the customer would get would show that they had come from the accounts department when a new invoice was created. Further down we can set some of the default shipping rates and profit margins that you wish to operate at when it comes to profit calculation for your quotations. If you have a plugin for MailChimp available, you can set your MailChimp information here. If you're using UPS as your courier, you can set the plugin information here. Working hours, here you can set the average working hours that you will use within your business. These are used on the production schedule page. If you're going to export your information from here to Sage, you can set your nominal codes. Here you can set if you wish to display some default bank information on your invoices for your customers to pay against. And here you can set the valid from days and other information to do with quotation and pricing. Again, when you've finished editing everything that you need to, submit and start. There are some defaults in here when you first get started with Receta, so in a lot of cases you'll only have to come in and edit them if you so wish. If we go to accounts and then users, here we can see a page where you can add new users into the system. Clicking add new user and adding the information as required. A first and last name is required, the email address is also required, username has to be unique and it will tell you if it's not, password has to be a strong password with capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers and characters if required, and also the level. Depending upon the level you select will change some of the features that are available to your staff members. A standard user will only be allowed to perform basic tasks, supervisor slightly more alleviated tasks, and administrator all tasks with the exception of setting up the full account, which is only done for the super user, which will be yourself if you are the account holder. If we now go to the material sections within admin and click, you'll see we've got 2 sections, material categories and material colors. Material categories influence all of the categories of materials that you buy in, the RMs. If you're not sure what an RM is, please look in the help files, and this is described for you. By default, your copy of Receta will come with several non-editable categories which are required. However, if you so wish, you can create additional categories to help you store your information. It should be clear, however, that in many cases, to add certain items to finished C prods or recs, they will need to be in these system categories. You should only put stuff in your own categories if you're not using them in the general scheme of the rest of your production, if you're just using Receta to store certain information, for example. Material colours. When selecting a capsule shell colour or the colour of a finished mix for help in identification and help on certain documentation which is produced in Receta, these are the predefined lists of colours. As before, you can add your own lists should you so wish, and these will be displayed throughout Receta. There's no limitation on where these would be used. Purchase order. Printed note defaults. When you are creating a purchase order and wish to send that to your supplier, as well as showing them the information that you wish to purchase, there is an area on the purchase order where you can add a note which would show on the purchase order and also in the email you send to your supplier. This could be information such as your request on a particular delivery day, such as your request of when you wanted to call the stock off that you'd ordered, etc. If you find that you are stating the same information time and time again, let's say, for example, that you have a particular delivery address or a particular delivery method that you wish for this particular supplier to use every single time, and you don't want to type that out every time, you can add some defaults. So what we can do here is we can say add a new printed note, and here we could say something like the directions to our premises are etc, etc, etc. Store that, and it's added it as a printed note. Now when we come to add a new purchase order onto the system, at the point where we could add a new note to the printed order which would be displayed to the supplier, as well as being able to type it as normal, we could also select this predefined one from a list, and it just saves us a little bit of time. Once they're set up here, you can use them on multiple occasions on multiple purchase orders as required. General. Within General, there are several areas which might be of interest. Locations. Probably one of the things that you'll set up first when you first get started with Receta is a list of all your stock locations. These could be your shelving areas divided into however you have your stock management. Within Receta, whenever a new item is added, whether that's an RM, a rec, an FP or a C prod, in many cases you will be adding its location. This will aid in stock management, stock rotation, picking lists, etc. Obviously, in this case you would need to add all of the locations. When you first get started, this may be a job which would take several minutes. However, once it's done, it's all in place and ready to go. You can find items here if you're looking, for example, if you know the location name, or you could even filter it by typing and finding a particular item, and it would show you all the locations where that item is listed. Business sectors. When you add in a new customer to Receta, you may wish to assign them to a particular business sector for future reporting to see how many customers you have in certain sections. And here are some predefined lists of the type of places that may well take your business. You can of course add your own as required. Shipping types. A list of predefined shipment types which are used on the dispatch page and also against customer contacts. When creating a customer contact, you can set if they have a particular shipping preference. Let's say, for example, that when you are sending to a particular fulfillment center for a customer, they have a requirement for you to use express shipping from a particular courier, for example. You can set that preference against the customer contact, and it will filter through to the dispatch area. Here we can have a list of predefined shipping types, which you can add your own to should you so wish. And these will be displayed on the dispatch area for you to select from as required. If you're not sure how that works, please look at the dispatch videos for more assistance. Shipping parcel types. When creating shipments directly in Receta, let's say for example you've integrated with your UPS courier, so you create the actual consignment directly in Receta as opposed to using the courier's own software. You can cut some time and save some heartache by simply adding parcel types here. Here you could add a list of predefined parcel shapes and sizes that you will send from your business. In this case, we've added one called standard box, and we've set its length, width and height. When it comes to creating a new dispatch consignment, instead of having to manually type in the dimensions of your box every single time, you can simply select from one that you've predefined and it will automatically create that for you. If you're not sure how that would work, again, please look at the dispatch videos. Finally, inquiry steps. This has been dealt with within the inquiry area videos. However, when you create a new inquiry, you may wish for your staff members to follow certain steps so that every inquiry is managed in the same way. To aid that, you can create inquiry steps, which we've added here, or you can add a new one here. What happens is when a new inquiry is added, these steps are added to that inquiry, and your sales staff would click to say that they'd completed each step against that inquiry as required. That way, anybody looking at a particular inquiry can see where that inquiry is without having to read a raft of notes. They can see which step they are at. That concludes the admin section. I hope you've enjoyed the video.